For tonight's homework, students are going to be working on comparing fractions, including mixed numbers. So for part one of the things that'll be easiest, especially with 3 over here, is to change this into a mixed number. To do that, students are going to want to think about what 33/9 is, taking out some number of wholes. So in this case, we want to be thinking in our mind that 9/9 makes one whole. So we're going to skip count by 9s until we get close to 33. So 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, 9 times 3 is 27. So if we took out 27/9, that would be the same as 3 whole. And then we'd see what remains here, 33. If we count up from 27 to 33, we can see that there's 6 remaining. So when we think about 33/9, we can think about it as 3 and 6/9. So to plot these points, 2 and 1, 6, if we think about also what makes the half here would be 2 and 3, 6. So thinking about where 2 and 1, 6 would be is helpful. 3 and 3/4, if we think about halfway, we know that's going to be 3 and 2/4. So 3/4 is a little bit more. In this case, we see 3 and 6/9, or we can also think about 6/9 being reduced as 2/3. So 2/3 is a little bit above half. So those are some helpful tips for solving number 1. For part B, you're going to use where you plotted these numbers. So seeing where you put 2 and 1, 6, 3 and 3/4, and 3 and 6/9, or 3 and 2/3, as we've also called this. We want students to think about how these numbers compare. So find where you plotted 3 and 3/9, or 3 and 2/3 compared to 2 and 1/6. Is it greater than, less than, or equal to? Thinking about the same thing here. Is 3 and 2/3, or 33/9, the same, equivalent to, greater than, less than, or equal to 3 and 3/4? So using what you did on the number line to help you solve that. Down here, students are going to do the same thing. What they're also going to do is, as you can see, they're going to have to change 1 and 3 into those mixed numbers to be able to plot it. So 65/8. We want to think of how many times we can do 8. So 8 times 1, 8, 8 times 2, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64. So 64/8 is the same as 8 whole, and we'd see we'd have 1/8 left over. So we can think about this number as 8 and 1/8, and students would want to show this number bonds to show their thinking. So the same process needs to happen for 29/4. In this case, we're going to take out, here we had to think about what 8/8, how many of those we could take out. Here we have to think about how many make one whole, and it's 4/4. So we have to say how many fourths can we take out. So skip counting again, but this time by fourths. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28 fourths. And if I do the division, 28 fourths, that's the same as 7 whole. And then I have 1/4 left. So this number is like 7 and 1/4. This number is like 8 and 1/8. And when students think about plotting this, this is 7 and 2/4. So 7 and 1/4 should fall in this range. 8 and 1/8, halfway, is 8 and 4/8. So that should fall really close to the 8 whole in this range. And then 8 and 5/6 is going to fall all the way over between 8 and 9, because halfway would be 8 and 3/6 in that case. And then again, students are going to be doing this comparison model down here based on the points that they plotted up in A. And then for these, students are simply going to make the comparison. Here they may want to make a common denominator of 12. So putting 1/3, how many 12ths? 3/4, how many 12ths? So they compare. Here I would change both of these, just like we did on the front side, into mixed numbers. Same with C. D, again, I would make 3/5 into that related denominator, which is tenths. In this case, finding a common denominator between fourths and fifths, we find that by multiplying them together and find we can make them both into some number of 20ths. Here again, going to mixed numbers and then a common denominator. Mixed numbers, common denominator, mixed numbers, common denominator, mixed numbers. Alrighty, so just making a common denominator, you can make 50 into hundreds by simply multiplying by 2. To making a 49 and doubling it will help you here. And then ninths into hundreds, that one's going to be a little bit challenging, so students can actually do the 9 times 100 and make it 900. Make this 500. And then times 49 and 100ths times 9, probably using a calculator here. All right, that should be enough help to get you through the homework for Tuesday.